welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about retrospective of one of the games I made called Rexo Rush. So all of you like OG fans know Rexo Rush, but for all of you who are here who don't know Rexo Rush, it's basically this phone game I made where you just jump and you collect these gears and they give you points, and it's kind of like Flappy Bird, it's kind of like Mario, it's like an endless runner for the iPhone. And I wanted to do a retrospective to give you some insight on like my process, what I learned, and also to reflect here on my channel to help me learn from my past experiences. So let's go ahead and dive right into it. Okay, so when we do a retrospective, traditionally, my education taught me that you focus on the questions like what went well, what didn't go well, and what would you do differently next time. But as I've kind of like grown into my own person, I've also realized that the biggest question I think that needs to be answered is like, what did I learn? So we will talk about those three questions as I answer what I learned. So the first thing I learned from this experience is what I'm capable of. Rexo Rush is the game that I first ever made. I remember going to college and like learning about making games, and this was a big theme. Everybody was learning and nobody was doing. And so I was like determined to take the initiative to complete a game. All right, so that's what I feel like went well, and that I learned was that like what I'm capable of. It took me 1 month. I spent $100 on the art. I spent $100 on the license to use the Apple, and I was successful in releasing my first product. Now, was it the best game ever? No, but was it a game that people could play? Like, yes, then that was huge. The first lesson I learned in things going wrong, if you will, is that when I first released the product and my dad downloaded the game on his phone, something like didn't work right. Like the button for the UI was outside the screen. And I realized that every single iPhone is a different resolution. So if you're watching this on your iPhone, like your phone is like a different dimension than mine, and they do that. It's kind of frustrating. Apple like makes a new one like every year or two, and they're all different. And my game has to think about that. And that was a really big challenge for me because it stopped me from wanting to continue making games. It made me feel like I have to do that. Like I have to figure out what it's going to look like on every single device. Like that's so much work. I don't want to do that. You know, that's old Matt, but like that was a challenge for me in that time. Was like, okay, like I didn't know that because I tested it on my phone, I built it on my phone, it worked, and now on this other device it didn't work. And I learned that but you can also, what you can just do is fix it, right? You go in there and you fix it, and then you push the new update, and then boom, it works. So that was definitely a challenge and an experience that I felt and overcame and learned from. And let's do one more of these. Okay, so the last thing I learned from this experience is something that happened to me years later. I released Rexo Rush in 2019, and I'm recording this video in 2026. When I went to release the game again, like I wanted to charge $1 for it. I was showing somebody and they were like, oh, like you don't like charge $1 for that, you know what I mean? Like you don't get residuals or whatever. So I went in there to charge $1 and something was wrong. And it turns out Apple will take down your game in 3 years if you do not update it or get enough downloads. So I only gotten like a couple hundred downloads. I hadn't made any money off of it because it was free and I hadn't updated it. So I learned that experience, and right now the version of Rexo Rush that's on the App Store as of recording this is actually a different version than you first played. I think this kind of ties into it. Something else that I learned was that, you know, the hard lesson of don't go back and mess around with it, because when I made Rexo Rush, like I made the game and then I shipped it, and then I was like, okay, it's done. So I took the project file and I started messing with it. I started expanding on it. I started messing with the settings. I started like finagling it, being like, oh, here's what I would have done differently, right? Like all those gamer like things you want to do as a developer and go in there and fix it done different. Like those are the types of things I think we often like get too hyper focused on. But the idea is that when I went to do those things, and then I was years later presented with this challenge, which was I needed to update the game, I had screwed myself because I had completely broken the project and I needed to release a new version of the game. And I didn't even have the old version. So I had to like go and fix the game. Granted, it's like not that big of a game and it only took me like a day or two to like get everything back up to speed, but it's not the same as it once was. And if I wanted to go in there and fix it to make it like perfect, or not even perfect, just like identical to what it was, like it would take time and energy. And that's like, I think my final lesson for the day here is that, like, you know, I learned to move on. Like, I think right now my motto in life as a game developer is just like get it done, ship it out, and move to the next one. Because there's no way that like Rexo Rush as it is ever gonna be like the biggest thing ever. Like maybe one day the franchise will grow and be popular, but like if I keep lingering on an old project, like then I'll never make the next one. Then I'll never make the next one after that. And so those are the lessons I took away. Let me take a deep breath and then we can do like a recap. Okay, so Rexo Rush, I learned that what I'm capable of as a developer and as a producer and just as a guy, that I can make a game. I also like learned what it took to do those things, to go through Unity, to upload to the App Store. I also learned the challenges of working on the mobile device and how there are different devices. But I also learned that you can update your app periodically to fix those things. And then I also learned that every 3 years, if your product isn't doing well enough and not updated, Apple will yell at you. Wants you to be up to date. So I learned that by preserving the old projects, I'm ready to update those in the future when the day comes. And at the end of the day, I just learned to keep moving on to the next thing. I think I want to make a video on that too. It's just like I learned that you just got to keep going. Like you make something, you finish it, and you keep persevering and keep going. Make the next one. What's the next one? So stick around, guys. If you want to see what the next game is, you can go ahead and subscribe, and I'll definitely post some more content on what games I'm working on now. If you want, you can go check out Rexo Rush. It's iPhone only at the moment, so if you have an iPhone, go ahead and download it, and you know it's free, so you can go ahead and show me some support if you really want to. Otherwise, just, you know, stick around, watch the next one. So thanks a bunch, guys. See you later. Chase your dreams.